Hello everyone and welcome to today's session on SAP FSCM Collections Management configuration in S4HANA. So today we will explore how collections management fits into the S4HANA ecosystem, and we will discuss how this solution streamlines the O2C cycle and improves the company's liquidity through better receivables management. So moving ahead with the course content. So our session is structured to provide a complete roadmap. We will begin with a high-level FSCM overview and then move into the introduction of collections management. Then we move forward with the business processes and organizational hierarchy and conclude with the daily system flow and process steps. Now moving ahead with the SAP FSCM overview. So the first core component within the SAP FSCM is collections management. It helps companies chase and manage overdue customer payments. So collections module replaces manual tracking with prioritized work list, ensuring that collectors focus their efforts on highest risk or highest value accounts. Then the second core component is dispute management. It handles and resolves customer invoice related complaints. So it provides a structured way to document and resolve customer complaints, which significantly reduces the time invoices stay unpaid during the disagreements. Then the third is credit management. It controls customer credit limits to reduce the financial risk. So credit management allows real-time monitoring of customer credit worthiness, helping businesses mitigate financial risk before the sales are finalized. And the final component is Biller Direct. It's a self-serving portal where customer can view and pay invoices online, thus reducing the administrative cost. So in general, these four are considered as the core components of SAP FSCM. They are tightly linked with the accounts receivable module and comes under the receivables management module within the SAP FSCM, which is basically the FI/AR module. Moving ahead with the introduction of collections management. Collections management is used to help companies efficiently collect overdue receivables by providing collectors with structured, prioritized worklist and tools to follow up with the customers. It has a user-friendly interface, so the collections worklist and collectors work center are designed for easy navigation, helping users manage day-to-day collections tasks efficiently. And it also integrates better with dispute management and credit management, ensuring that all receivables related issues are visible in one place, which is the work list. Then it provides a centralized workspace for customer communication, promise to pay, manage dispute cases, submit resubmission, and take follow-up on each of the mentioned steps. So this module tracks every customer interaction, including promise to pay, resubmission, dispute, ensuring a professional and consistent follow-up process. Moving ahead with the business process of SAP Collections Management. So I will be teaching in SAP S4HANA system, which is the latest innovation of SAP. So the first is SAP Receivables Management, wherein we have collections, dispute, credit, and biller direct. So this we already learned in our previous slide. The second important component is the master data setup. Now for collections management, we will have a separate BP role, just like how you have FI customer or in treasury side you have counterparty. There will be a separate BP role for SAP Collections Management where we will define the org structure. There will be also a separate BP role for credit management, and there won't be a separate BP role for dispute management. It will be linked to your collection and credit management. Now, once the master data is set up, the accounting entry should start flowing into the customer account. So the first way from where the accounting entry will flow would be the sales and distribution module. So once the billing is completed, the billing document is generated through the account determination. A FI entry is also posted. And in SAP standard, it should be the RV document that gets posted from the sales end, that is triggering the FI document from the sales and distribution module. Then we also have some non-ST based transaction from where we post to the open items of customer, such as outgoing invoices, which would be the transaction FP70. So this will not be triggered from the sales and distribution end. It will be triggered from the FI side. Then we also have GL posting, the manual entries. If you want to make any adjustments or post any adjustment document, then we also have banking. So in banking, we have the incoming payments. So all this also contributes to the open items of accounts receivable, and all this process that you are viewing here comes under the accounts receivable module. So this diagram illustrates how accounts receivable sits at the heart of the system. It connects sales and distribution module and direct financial posting with the master data ensuring that collection teams always has the most current billing information. So once we define the org structure, here in the collections management side, org structure is defined. Then we assign that in the master data of the customer's business partner. Then we will post some FI accounting documents from sales and distribution side, or it could be from the direct FI AR posting. And thus it will be stored in my accounts receivable, which will be the open items of customer ledger. So this is the overall diagram of how the business process will look like in the collections management module. Moving ahead, we have organizational structure. So I was talking about collections management module here. So let's talk about the org structure of the collections management. So the org structure is defined in the mentioned way. So the first thing we have is collection profile. Then we have collection segment that we need to define. In the company code will be assigned at the collection segment level. Then we have collection group and collection specialist here as well. So your collection specialist will be linked to your collection group. Your group will be linked to your segment. Your company code will be linked to your segment as well. Then your segment will be assigned to your collection profile. So all this construct as your master data, and we will define this at the back end as well, and at the front end as well, we will assign it to the business partner. Then we also have collection strategy. So collection strategy are assigned at collection group level. So this is the configuration of the org structure. Then we assign this configuration in the BP role of collections management. So we will extend our FI customer role to the collections management role. And in FI customer, we also maintain the contact person. So contact person basically means the contact person of the customer BP end. So in SAP S4HANA, it is created as a separate business partner where we maintain the relationship that in collections management module, we have this main contact person from the customer end. Now let me take you to the SAP screen and show you where this configuration are maintained. So we are in the S4HANA system. I would navigate to the transaction SPRO, SAP reference IMG. I'll go to FSCM, collections management, basic settings, and then we have organizational structure. So here we maintain our collection profile, segment, group, and then assignment. So if you execute the defined collection profile, you can see we have some collection profile here maintained as collection profile for Asia, Europe, or USA. Then we select this and assign the collection segment. US 01 is assigned, but there is a separate configuration where we define the collection segment. So if you see here, we have defined collection segment here. So here we define the collection segment. So US 01 was assigned, you can see here. So your company code is assigned at your collection segment level. You can see assign company code here. So here we assign the company code, and even the credit segment is assigned at this stage only at the credit collection segment level. So that would be integration between your credit management and collections management. Then moving ahead, we have collection group here where we maintain the collection group. You can see we have collection group for France, Germany, North India, and we assign the specialist here. So select this and we assign the collection specialist here. And your strategy is also defined at the collection group level. So what all things we just saw in the org structure, I showed you in the SAP screen as well. And now let me take you to the master data. So the master, in order to navigate to the transaction of master data, we go to the transaction UDM underscore BP. So this will directly take me to the collections management BP row. You can see it has directly taken me to the collections management role within the BP. Then we have this collection profile here. So what all things that we maintain at the backend, the collection profile, segment, and this is collection group and specialist will be assigned at the master data level here in the collections management row. So I hope you got a fair understanding of the org structure and its assignment to the master data. So we maintain this collection profile, segment, group, and specialist for clear and better accountability. And then we assign it into the master data. Now let us move ahead with the process steps of collections management. So I have segregated the process steps into 3 stages. So what all are the activities that a collection supervisor performs, what all are the activity that a collection specialist performs, who will do the end user activity, and what all are the system schedule batch job. So the process steps start with assigning the org structure to the business partner. So we just saw in the SAP screens how we maintain the collection profile, segment, group, and specialist. We assign it to the business partner. That is the first step. Second thing is we assign the collection strategy. Now this is again an important step, because if you don't assign a collection strategy to the collection group, you won't be able to see the work list. So your work list will not be generated if you don't have a collection strategy. So collection strategy is a must. Then we transfer the data, what all are the open items in the FPL 5N from FI accounts receivable into the collections management module. So don't get into this assumption that once the data is posted into the FI open items, into the FI customer account, it will automatically flow into the collections management module. No, that is not the case. There are certain transactions from where we move the data from FIAR table to the collections management table. There is a separate table for collections management that will store all your open items. And once the data is stored, from that other transaction, we generate the work list. So both of these are different transactions. So it will generate the work list based on the data that is visible in the collections management table. And in general scenarios, these two are scheduled as a batch job. So once a day or twice a day as per the business requirement, these two are scheduled at a batch job, and they will run on a designated time, either in two separate batch jobs or into one single batch job in two different steps. Now, once the work list is generated, the specialist can choose the appropriate option to proceed to the next step. So they will communicate with the customer on a regular basis, and they will perform the activities in the collections management module. If the customer is committing to pay for certain invoices, they are committing a timeline. So they will create a promise to pay. If the customer is not agreeing to pay and they have some particular reason for it, either it could be damaged goods or late deliveries, it could be anything, but the customer is not agreeing to pay for certain invoices, then we create a dispute case. Then if the customer is requesting resubmission, it is basically a follow-up that you follow for these invoices on a particular date. So we will create a resubmission so that when that date comes, we will know that, okay, we need to take a follow-up for these invoices. And if the customer is providing any information like they are out of office or their head office is closed or they are changing any bank details, then we can create some notes as well into the system. So the specialist will perform the end user activity. Then it will move to the next step of supervising the collections work list. So this will be done by the line manager of the specialist, who will be the supervisor. Supervisor will supervise the work list and they will take follow-up on regular basis. So they will report to the upper management, or everything is in a structured way. Everyone can see in a single screen what is happening with this customer and what is happening with the open items of this customer. So the supervisor will supervise the collections specialist activity and they will report and follow up accordingly. Then once this is done, our collections activity is completed. So supervisor will be the reporting manager of specialist. Supervisor will supervise the work list and they will take follow up on regular basis from the collection specialist, and collection specialist will in turn take the follow from the customer. So this is the process step. So the workflow is driven by automatic batch job that refreshes the data and generates the work list. Specialists then execute special action based on customer feedbacks, such as recording promise to pay, creating dispute case, creating resubmission, or creating notes. Then the supervisor will supervise these activities and they will take follow-up, and then collections activities are completed. Now let us understand the system flow within the collections management module. So it starts with master data. We assign collection profile, segment, group, and specialist in the master data. Then we maintain collection strategy, and this also we need to assign at the collection group level. Then we transfer the data from FIAR into the collections management table. And from that table, we will generate the work list. So these two are a separate transaction. It will run independently, or we can have it in a batch job as well. Then once the work list is generated, the end user will perform the end user activities like creating promise to pay, dispute cases, resubmission, and notes. And they will communicate with the customer on regular basis, and they will enter all the details, what all are the information they are getting from the customer. Then finally is analytics. the collections management reports. Now in SAP GUI, we don't have any proper collections management report. We don't have any reports to track your promise to pay. We have one report to track dispute cases. Then we have some reports for resubmission as well. But in general, there are no proper reports in collections management. So normally what the company does is they will create some custom reports. So I have also explained in this course how we can link the collections management table to the FI side. So that would help you guys to create some collections management report as well, link multiple table to get the proper data shown as per the business requirement. So this reporting part as well, I have a separate course on table linkage in which I have linked the collections management table with the FIAR table, the VSEC table. So in order to get better reporting on collections management module, SAP has given some reports, but they are in SAC, which is SAP Analytics Cloud. So in SAC, you will find multiple reports, KPI driven report. They have bar graph, pie chart, and all those things they have made, and it's a proper reporting tool, but it is it's not provided in the SAP standard. The customer normally have to purchase a separate license for the SAC to get access to those reports. So, but I have explained the table level linkage that also you can use to create custom collections management reports. So to summarize the cycle, we start with master data, then we move to the data transfer from FIAR, then we process the work list on a daily basis, finally use the analytics to measure and improve our collection performance. So this was the system flow of SAP collections management. So that brings me to the end of the course. So thank you very much for your attention to the course. And if you have any question, you can send me an email here. And if you're interested in enrolling to this full Udemy course, you can send me an email and I can send you a discount coupon so that you can go through it. I also have other courses on Udemy you can check out on FSCM. And in this course, I have covered practically everything that is required for a collections management setup, right from activating the collections management module to performing the cutover activities once the go live is done. So that system is ready to be used from day one. So I've explained in detail each concept. So you can go through the course content in the Udemy section. And if you want to enroll to this course, you can send me an email and I can send you a discount coupon. So thank you very much and happy learning.